Okay, so this, again, this part you do want to pay attention for. We will use this most likely most often. We're going to use the same equation again because we want to make sure that we're doing this correctly. So we have 2x squared minus x equals fx. Our first step should be to let it equal 0 as per usual. Okay, so then we have 2x squared minus x minus 10. It's actually going to be very similar to our last problem. We're going to multiply, again, our number or coefficient in front of x squared times our c value, which is negative 10. We get 2 times, again, negative 10 is equal to negative 20. We get negative 1 on the bottom because that is the number in front of, or the coefficient in front of just x. We have the same factors of negative 5 and positive 4. But this time, this method is called the Xbox method because we're going to draw a box. If you took biology and you are familiar with Punnett squares, this is the same thing. Just as information, this method is actually combining the last one we did with the first method. The first method being using shapes. This is actually doing the same thing. Okay, to fill this out, this top left corner, we're going to fill it out with 2x squared, which is our first term. The bottom right, we're going to fill out with negative 10, which is our c value. So again, the top left corner, we're going to fill out with our first term, which is 2x squared. And then on the bottom right, we're going to fill out with negative 10. You know to use this method when we're given a number or a coefficient that's greater than 1. Okay? You can also use this when you're given a coefficient where the coefficient is less than 1. So as an example, if you're given 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, etc., you could use this method. Okay, the numbers that we put in here are actually the numbers we figured out from our diamond method. We're going to put, and it doesn't matter, you can put the negative 5 here, or you can put your negative 5 here. So we have negative 5 here, and we have positive 4, but these are going to be x values. So it's going to be negative 5x and positive 4x. And again, we get those numbers from our diamond. We put the negative 5x here, we put the positive 4x here. If you guys know like a multiplication table, what this is saying is that something up here times something on the left-hand side will equal 2x squared. Something on the top times something on the bottom will equal negative 5x. So we know that this is going to be an x. We know that this is going to be x. We know that actually one of these is going to be 2x because again, when you multiply them, it needs to equal 2x squared, right? So one of these will need to be 2x, but we actually figured that out last. We figured that out last. So the numbers we're going to put on the sides are going to be what times what equals negative 10. And then also, you're going to have a number here that when multiplied by this value will equal 4x. Okay? So here we're going to have a number where when multiplied by this value here will equal negative 5x. Since this is a negative 10, we know that this number on the bottom must be a negative, right? Because something times x equals negative 5x, so this bottom number must be negative. The second thing is that the different factors we can think about are 10, 1, 2, and 5. If 10 was on either side, it would not be able to equal negative 5x or 4. So 10 and 1 are out of the picture, right? 10 and 1 are out of the picture because 10 times a number could not equal a smaller number unless there is a fraction, but we're not dealing with fractions here. Okay. So the only two other factors we're left with is 2 and 5. You can see here there's a negative 5x here, so this number here is probably 5, right? So then this number down here is negative 5. Does this make sense that x times negative 5 is equal to negative 5x? It does, right? Here we have a positive 4, so we're going to do plus 2. So we want to check. So here we can see that negative 5 times positive 2 equals negative 10. We can see here that negative 5 times x equals negative 5x. We can see here that x times x doesn't equal 2x squared. It equals x squared, but not 2x squared. So we still need to figure out where the 2 goes. And if we check our last blocks here, x times 2 equals 4x. We're a little bit short, but now we know where to put the 2 because this one will be the 2 because 2x times 2 equals 4x. So now that we have our sides of the rectangle, you can see here we're going to move it over here. 0 equals 2x minus 5 times x plus 2. Okay. So at this point, we can go ahead and check, see, do we have the same factors as before? We do. 2x minus 5 times x plus 2. So you can see here that this third method, which is most likely the method you'll use, gets us the same answer as the previous 3. Just like before, our next step would be to make each of these equal 0 by the zero product property, because we know that if either one of these is equal to 0, then we have our answer. So what we would do is we would solve for x. We would add 5 on both sides. 2x equals 5 divided by 2. X equals 5 over 2. The other one is more simple. You just subtract 2 on both sides. We get x equals negative 2 or x equals 5 divided by 2.